Alright, this video is about underrated shows. Shows that for one reason or another didn't get the respect they should have gotten, didn't get the wider audience they should have gotten, and the show particularly I'm speaking about right now is Wonderfalls.
We're bobbing along in our barrel. Some of us tip right over the edge.
Now, most people here know my love of Star Trek Voyager, but they might not know that my favorite show spot is tied with Wonderfalls. If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, odds are you've heard me quote Wonderfalls many times. In fact, look, I got a Wonderfalls shirt. I got tons of Wonderfalls collectibles and stuff. Check it out. I have a shelf with some muses. The cow's not quite accurate, but what are you gonna do? I have the Viewmaster, which is from the original poster, which I also have. If you don't know what the muses are, don't worry, we're gonna get into it. Now, a little bit about this show. It came out in 2004 on Fox, and if anyone remembers, that was that weird time when Fox just went down the line. They canceled Family Guy and Futurama and Firefly and Wonderfalls and tons of great shows that they only really gave sometimes only a few episodes to before they canceled. Never even gave these shows a chance. Wonderfalls was treated so poorly that in fact they aired only 4 episodes and they aired them out of order. And then on the final episode, they switched the day of the week. So you had no chance to really find this show and fall in love with it unless you were paying close attention to Fox, which I was doing at the time. I watched the show when it aired. I really liked it, but then it was just gone. And it wasn't until years later they released a DVD box set with 9 more episodes on it, the complete first season. And Mom ended up buying it for me as a gift, and I was like, sure, I'll check it out. And it changed my life. Not to oversell it, but truly. The show was created by Bryan Fuller and Todd Holland. Many of you may have heard of Bryan Fuller because he did shows like Dead Like Me, Pushing Daisies, Hannibal. He's now doing American Gods. Those are the big ones he's kind of known for, but he's had his hands in a few different shows. Funnily enough, he got his start as a writer on Star Trek Voyager. The show is kind of hard to find now. In some countries and some places, it's on different streaming services, but the most reliable way to watch it is to get the DVDs right here. They're listed as kind of expensive on Amazon, but you can find them on eBay or used on Amazon for like $5 to $10, and please do it. A little bit about the show. Here's the thing, I don't want to give too much away because you need to watch it, but I'm going to tell you about the show. It centers around Jay Tyler and her family. Jay Tyler is the youngest of a family of Karen, Darren, Sharon, Aaron, and Jay.
Karen Tyler is the award-winning author of several best-selling travel guides. She resides in Niagara Falls, New York, with her husband, noted area physician Dr. Darren Tyler. Their eldest daughter, Sharon, is a respected immigration attorney. Son, Aaron, is currently pursuing his doctorate in comparative religion. Jay, a daughter, is 24.
Her family is very successful in their own rights. She went to Brown and got a philosophy degree, and she went, screw it, I'm just going to work at a gift shop and live in a trailer, because why bother?
You're spiteful in a way the definition of spiteful doesn't quite prepare you for. Oh, don't drop your jaw at me. Disappointing your family is an extreme sport for you.
Well, just look at them. They all work really hard every day and they're dissatisfied. I mean, I can be dissatisfied without hardly working at all.
She's someone that actively tries to avoid engaging with the world around her, which is amazing about this show because they figured out millennials before millennials had a name. We were still called Gen Y, which is an entire plot of an episode. You need to watch that one.
Regarding your article on Gen Y losers. Losers? You're writing an article on how I'm a loser?
So this show came out when I was 15, and I got the DVDs a few years later, and I really liked it. But when I was in my early 20s, I rediscovered it again, and I was at the appropriate age Jay was in the show. And it kind of spoke to me on this weirdly mind-blowing level, because I was like, holy crap, I'm Jay. What makes Jay different than me is what happens to her and how she deals with it. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of the show, but I'm going to give you a recap, an explanation of the first episode, hopefully to entice you to watch the whole series. So here we go. First episode, review, kind of spoilers. So Jay is someone who's pretty content in like the mediocrity of her life until something happens that makes her hit rock bottom. And that is that the teenage mouth breather she trained at her job at Wonderfalls, the gift shop at Niagara Falls, becomes her boss. And then things get a little weird.
You can just give me 4 ones.
Word of advice: don't give her money back.
Yes, a smoosh-faced lion starts talking to her. And it's not just the smoosh-faced lion. It seems like no matter where she goes, there's always going to be some weird inanimate animal telling her what to do and wearing her down until she finally relents and does what they say.
I can't afford a carriage.
If I do this, will you shut up?
Bicycle built for two. Sharon.
And despite her best efforts to stay completely detached from the world around her, the things the animals tell her to do usually make things work out. So as an example, let's look at the pilot and see how these animals telling her what to do end up working out at the end. The little wax lion tells her not to give a very rude customer her money back, but Jay doesn't listen, gives the money to the lady, and the lady's purse is immediately stolen.
Told you.
Then the wax lion tells Jay to ask Thomas, the delivery man, why he doesn't wear his wedding ring anymore. It ends up making him upset with his repressed memories of his broken marriage.
You made me make him cry.
He goes outside, flips a coin into the fountain, then the wax lion tells her to go get the coin.
See a penny? Pick it up.
Jay goes and fishes the quarter out of the fountain. When she's looking at it, the little eagle on the back makes a sound. She freaks out and tosses it. Then there's a bit of a chase. It gets away from her. She finally catches up to it, and in the trash can with the coin is the lady's purse. She tries to return the purse, but it goes not so great. She ends up getting arrested, and her lawyer's sister comes to bail her out. That also doesn't go very well. The little wax lion tries to get Jay to hook up her sister Sharon with the delivery man Thomas, and the date doesn't go very well because turns out her sister is a lesbian.
If I tell you something, you have to promise you won't breathe a word of it to anyone, okay?
Sure.
I'm a lesbian. The reason I'm not attracted to you is your genitals are on the outside.
And also Thomas is allergic to peanuts.
Did you have that goiter before?
Were there peanuts in the salad?
Sharon has to perform an emergency tracheotomy, but when she opens the pen, she gets ink on her face. When they get to the hospital, she meets Thomas's ex-wife, who licks her finger and wipes the ink off her face, which kind of alludes to the fact maybe that's why Thomas's marriage broke up. Thomas ends up getting a sponge bath by a hot nurse. By the end of the episode, Thomas and the hot nurse are together, and Jay's sister Sharon is with Thomas's ex-wife, and the world is good. So now a little bit about her family, which is a huge part of how she relates to the world and why she kind of is the way she is.
Well, meaning, but let's just say it, overbearing parents, disapproving sister, a brother who lives at home but is still considered more successful than I am, which could be because I live in a trailer that, while it may look like Jeannie's bottle, is actually slightly smaller.
A lot of the rest of the series involves her family's worry about her as her increasingly erratic behavior kind of freaks them out.
If this is an intervention, shouldn't we be intervening?
Who said anything about an intervention?
It's not so much an intervention as it is a collective expression of concern.
You said intervention.
Well, it got you here, didn't it?
And a lot of it is her just wishing these voices would go away. Even though they do ultimately do good things, it's making her a little insane.
Take one down, pass it around. 88 bottles of beer on the wall. 88 bottles of beer on the wall. 88 bottles of beer.
This is what cults do, you know.
Now let's talk about the non-familial relations in this show. Her best friend is Mahandra, her friend since high school, and Mahandra's kind of a little bit in the same place of her life that Jay is in. She works as a waitress at the Barrel, which is the main, seemingly only bar and restaurant in town. Mahandra understands Jay in a way that seemingly no one else does, and she's basically the only person that can put up with Jay's behavior and still be her friend. And Mahandra's also the only person Jay seems to want to be around because, well, similar to me, she enjoys when people can put up with her.
What happened to you?
I was accosted by a middle-aged Texan housefrau during an act of kindness.
Why were you performing an act of kindness?
Just wanted to see what it was like.
Now we go to Eric. He is the brand new bartender that just got hired at the bar, and when she asks him about his life, he tells a little bit of a sad story.
She was my college sweetheart.
The honeymoon suite.
Married in New Jersey, honeymoon in Niagara. It was like a fairy tale. Until I caught her with a bellman in our room.
Sweet. Honey?
I walked out of that honeymoon suite into this bar and cried for 3 days until someone gave me a job.
There is an undeniable instant spark between Eric and Jay, but she, being defensive as always, tries to push him away.
You know, I've been thinking. I'm almost numb enough to start something on the rebound. What do you say?
Sweet of you to offer, but I may be clinically insane.
You might want to hold out for someone a little more stable.
I don't think that'd be as interesting.
But he seems to be a bit like Mahendra in the fact that the more that Jay pushes him away, the more he's intrigued and wants to be around her. Alright, I think I've reached the point because I don't want to give too much more of the show away, but all of those characters interplaying, all of them dealing in relation to Jay, even though her normal life, she wanted to be below the radar. She wanted to just disappoint her family, but do it in the easiest possible way. Now she can't help but be noticeable, and now everyone is wrapped up in her crazy, even though they have no clue what she's going through. The show was also sprinkled with fun guest stars like Spencer Breslin, that kid that was, in everything when you needed a funny kid. Jewel Staite, most famously for Firefly and Serenity. Sarah Drews of Grey's Anatomy fame. Eddie K. Thomas from the American Pie films. Along with powerhouses like Louise Fletcher and Rue McClanahan. Another interesting part of Wonderfalls is it kind of really launched the Bryan Fuller verse of connected shows. Beth Grant portrayed Mary Marie Beadle on Wonderfalls and later played the same character on Pushing Daisies. Shalon Simmons, who was Gretchen Speck Horowitz on Wonderfalls, later went to Hannibal, and not only did she play the same character, she got to quote her own famous lines from Wonderfalls. Bryan Fuller's universe has connected many shows with the same characters, the same names, and a lot of the same actors, but those are the cool ones that the exact same original characters from Wonderfalls went to other shows. Anyway, I feel like I've ranted enough. This show means so very much to me, not just like trying to be silly. It is something that meant a lot to me when I watched it. It really helped me understand my place in the world more and the way I was feeling about the world and the way that we all can kind of feel like an outcast and aimless, especially the young millennial or Gen Wire. It is insanely quotable. No joke, I quote this all of the time. It's full of amazingly fleshed out characters and rich relationships between them. And characters you're actually invested in. And then it got canceled. The writing was on the wall from the beginning, and the show knew that Fox was not going to give them a fair shake. The very night the show premiered, a website called Save Wonderfalls also went live. And believe it or not, that website is still up, and you can go check it out and see some behind the scenes stuff. You could see them tracking the show and realizing that it probably was not going to get a second season. And it's a cool treasure trove of like archive stuff from the show. But the one good thing about a show that is canceled too early with only one season is that they saw it coming. I know it's really hard for people to get into shows that they know are canceled, especially if they think it's going to end on a massive cliffhanger and no resolution. I can tell you, Wonderfalls, they were able to wrap it up in such a cool way that you know the show is still going to continue, and you can imagine these people still having cool lives afterwards, but it gave you enough resolution as an audience member to look at it and say, wow, that was a really well-made show, and I'm glad I've seen it. So if you haven't figured it out yet, I am begging you guys, go watch this show. Give it the recognition it deserves. It is incredibly underrated. And simply because you are on my channel means we at least have some similar tastes in shows. So please take my word for it and check it out. So I think that's all I got, but if you guys do end up checking out the show, please comment below and talk to me about it. It is something that I have had to suffer alone, being such a big fan. There are people sprinkled here and there, but I would love more people to know this show. So if you do check it out, let me know. I will catch you guys later. Until next time.